So, ladies and gentlemen, this podcast on Jonathan Frid, I must tell you in advance, I'm not going to talk much about his personal life or sexuality. That can be left to people that are more adept at looking at those type of details. Our podcast here are not here to talk about sexuality or non-sexuality or asexuality or whatever. It's going to talk about the quality of the people that we're profiling. Now, Jonathan Frid, pound for pound, probably one of the most unheralded Canadian actors of all time. And if you're an American hearing that for the first time, yes, the great Barnabas Collins, who will live forever, is a Canadian. Ooh. Now, born December 7th, 1924 in Hamilton, Ontario, he began his career at drama at an early age, where he said in public he first offered his soul to the theatre as a young boy at a preparatory school in Ontario. Now, following his graduation from McMaster University, he attended the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts, RADA, in the UK, and later earned a master's degree in directing from the Yale School of Drama. Now, Frid's ancestry was a mixture of Scottish and English. He was the youngest son of homemaker Isabel Flora Nee McGregor and Herbert Percival H.B. Frid, a constructor and executive. Now, Frid served in the Royal Canadian Navy during World War II. Like I said, he graduated from Hamilton's McMaster University in 1948, and then with the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts, he eventually moved to the United States in 1954 and received a Master of Fine Arts degree in directing from the Yale School of Drama in 1957. Now, as a student at Yale in 1956, he starred in the premiere of William Schneider's play, A True and Special Friend. He later went on to star in the first productions of the Williamstown Theatre in Williamston, Massachusetts, great location by the way, and various stage productions in Canada, England, and the United States. Now, he decided to change his stage name to Jonathan Frid rather than John Frid in 1962 and made his Broadway debut as an understudy in the 1945 play Roar Like a Dove. Now, early TV roles with the CBC included parts in Julius Caesar, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Our Town, and A Picture of Dorian Gray. Now, Frid is best known for changing the soap opera genre with his portrayal of the vampire Barnabas Collins on the original Gothic serial Dark Shadows, which brought him international attention and fame, and basically not only typecast him, it typecast the whole genre of vampirism at the time. Before Barnabas showed up, the case of the anti-hero vampire wasn't very prominent. You had the Christopher Lee, Bela Lugosi, the aggressive murderous vampire, but he made the vampire, compassionate and one to feel pity for and empathy. So he not only became typecast as Jonathan Frid, as Barnabas Collins, every Dracula from then on had to play Dracula with a bit of Barnabas Collins or Jonathan Frid in him, so it was a double typecasting. Now, Dark Shadows ran from 1966 to 71. Now, he also starred as Barnabas in the 1970 MGM hit House of Dark Shadows. Now, in 1967, Frid's big boost at fame when he made plans to move to U.S. West Coast to pursue a career as an acting teacher, when he won the role of Barnabas that ultimately made him that household name. As Frid explained on his website, he had barely entered his apartment as the phone call from his agent came informing him that he won the role of Barnabas. He agreed to accept it after being told it was a short-term one that provided with extra cash while he prepared to move. As the character's popularity soared, Frid scraped those plans. Now, for the 5 people out there who've not watched Dark Shadows, the first number of episodes were more like a kind of a dark, gothic film noir drama. But when Barnabas showed up, all hell broke loose, because you never saw a character like this on any soap opera. Somebody that was, compelling and intriguing, and you would have to need like detective type skills to determine whether he was a vampire and what type of vampire he was. And like I said, all hell broke loose. Women got obsessed with him. Gay people got obsessed. Kids, teenagers, all kind of people, all age groups, all sexualities looked at Barnabas as their hero. Now, when Dark Shadows eventually ended in 1971, after the show was taking in different parts including time travel, parallel universe, multiple personality, whatever. He returned to performing live theater full-time with starring roles in the Broadway plays Murder in the Cathedral and Wait Until Dark, and as well as Thomas Becket. Frid had previously played the role of a psychiatrist on the CBS television soap opera As the World Turns. In 1973, Frid appeared in the TV movie The Devil's Daughter, a very infamous satanic film starring Shelley Winters, and the following year starred in Oliver Stone's directorial debut, the Canadian horror movie Seizure. In 1978, he eventually returned to Canada for a time, and then went to New York City in the early 1980s. Now, Frid began performing readings of Dark Shadows at fan conventions in the 1980s, and while developing ideas for his one-man shows. He exceeded Ava Goda, also a Dark Shadows alumnus, as Jonathan Brewster in the 1987 Broadway revival of Arsenic and Old Lace, which was a big hit, of course. In 1994, he retired and returned to Canada. He continued to perform one-man shows for charities in both Canada and the States. In 2000, he started to play Mass Appeal, which enjoyed a successful limited run in Hamilton and at the Sterling Festival Theatre in Sterling. Now, Frid attended Dark Shadows Convention in New York on August 7, 2007, in Burbank in July 2008, in Elizabeth, New Jersey in August of 2009 to much fanfare. Now, in 2010, he returned to the role of Barnabas for the first time in 39 years in a Dark Shadows audio drama, The Night Whispers. Now, along with former Dark Shadows castmates Lara Parker, David Selby, and Catherine Lee Scott, he spent 3 years at Pinewood Studios in June 2011. Spent 3 days filming a cameo appearance as a guest at the happening scene for the 2012 Tim Burton Dark Shadows film, to much acclaim. And this was his last film appearance. Now, Frid died of a Javansky Hospital in Hamilton, Ontario, of pneumonia on April 14th, 2012, which also included the complications after a fall. Now, while some sources at the time variously reported the date of his death as April 13th, Frid's nephew David Howitt confirmed that Frid died in the early mornings hours of April 14, 2012, added that while Friday the 13th makes for good press, it's good to get it right. Now, talking about Seizure, movie has to be seen to be believed, if you can find it. Oliver Stone movie that came across like really, really bad Scorsese exploitation. But House of Dark Shadows, there's another podcast on my channel here talking about that movie more in depth. Very, very, very good. And he had some difficulty doing that movie because of all the bloodletting in it. And I think that was his goodbye performance as a tribute to all the Dark Shadows fans. At one point, ladies and gentlemen, he was just as popular as any other teen idol in the history of teen idolism. He probably had 50 million fans worldwide, and 50 million fans say like Elvis. Can't be wrong. Everything was Dark Shadows back in the day, ladies and gentlemen. And we're still talking about it, 55 years later. Come on. Immortal life. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening. Give me a comment, like, or subscribe. And to all the Dark Shadow fans out there, don't forget Tubi has the full series right now. Still waiting for Night and House of Dark Shadows to show up for free on those networks, but I think MGM still owns the rights. Have a good day. Bye.